special guest after him, guys. So stick around. We are going to have so much fun. So I'm going to bring Chen Ye. Hi, Chen. Yeah, how are
Hi,
you? How are
Kirsten.
you doing?
I'm good. Good. Can you hear me? Okay.
I
Yeah.
can hear you sound
Thank
and
you.
clear.
Thank you for having me here. I've been big fan of the show, and definitely I'm humbled by all the guests that you had, all their stories and stuff. So I'm hoping I can contribute just as much to to the
Yes,
mission.
yes, yes, yes. Oh, I'm so excited to have you. I know you're very busy, and today, you just took time to come and hang around with us. I really do appreciate. You know what? Before I preempt, the viewers always love to hear my guest story. So I would like you to introduce yourself before I preempt anything.
Sure. No. So my name is Chen Ye. I think the most significant part of STEM was the I got my bachelor's in electrical engineering at CSU Northridge. I also got my master's there in manufacturing systems engineering there. Now, I've worked a few different jobs as a technician, but I think in the last couple of years, I really made a big step in my career where I became a quality engineer. So, definitely, it's probably been the most biggest achievement, in my career. Might not sound like much, but for a lot of our stories, we're coming from first generation, families in here, or first kids to go to college. That's for us, it's no matter how small, it's a big achievement for us all.
Wow, tell me about it. I come from also from Zambia originally,
Hmm.
and I was not privileged to become an engineer. I have so many things to be thankful in United States for giving me this opportunity to become an engineer and to work for one of the biggest companies here in United States. I really, really do appreciate. I have no words, and just even the people I've surrounded myself with, you know, I understand what you're saying, and yeah. So let's dive into. Thank you so much, Chain. So I wanted to ask something, Chain. So how did your story start about being in STEM? How did it start? Let's go back when you were young, 5 years. Um, you know, around that time, what was going on in your mind? Did your parents talk about it, or how did it start?
So definitely, there's a lot of factors in it, and I think it's not until now when I'm a lot older that I think you start to see like where the pieces kind of fit in all together, in a picture. So as a kid, I think every kid's got like a natural ability for curiosity. I mean, in my
Yes,
case, you're always wondering how things work. Even if it's just like one particular thing. For example, as a kid, I had this obsession with washing machines. I think it
yes,
was it was just it was amazing to see how dirty clothes go in and dirty clothes come out, and then see there's a machine takes care of it all. So
yes,
anytime when my parents, we went to a Sears hardware store or a mall, the first thing I did was I ran toward the washing machine section, and I was happy, when a store had a good, like a wide variety of selection. I was kind of bummed
yes,
out when they didn't have like a small selection. I was like, this wasn't too much fun to look at. But
yes,
so that kind of curiosity and that
mhm,
idea of wanting to know how things work, that's that to me was like a small part of what became on my path on STEM.
yes,
And I'll be honest too. You'll hear this a lot probably. The more I talk, is I was not a very good high achieving student per se, not compared to my sisters or who are much more studious and stuff. But
yes,
for example, in arithmetic in elementary school, that was easily probably one of my worst subjects too. And but later on, it became one of my most how should you say, most preferred subjects. And what it
yes,
was is that you know my mom, she stayed up late at night. What make sure that we counted in Chinese. We have these green beans they're called mung beans.
yes,
And I would stay up, just to count them all. So it was, and later on, the more work you put into it, the more you got used to seeing it, and the more you got accustomed to it. You can do it
Yes.
more quickly. And
Yes.
the same thing happened, when it came to the multiplication table, the division
Yes.
table, and so on. But and so that was my mom was definitely one of my biggest help in trying to school. And again, definitely there came to a point too where my parents' education was it could only help me so far. There were
Yes.
because we talked about being like the first generation here from immigrants family, or being the first to go to college. There is also comes to a point where you also have to your world opens up. You have to
Correct.
seek new help, and that's
Mm-hmm.
also too what I seem to understand is that as you grow up, as
Mm-hmm.
you grow and understand more about the world, the different
Yes.
what you learn, your world opens up. And, that's I think that's probably the simplest way to put it. So fast forward to when it comes to when I first started going to college, you know you don't know what you want to do for a living. You don't or what you want to be as what it means to be an adult.
Yes.
So the first thing I thought of was mathematics, is
Mm-hmm.
because that was the thing that I seemed to have a knack for. But still, I think there was still something missing because I didn't know how to apply it. I was good at solving problems. I was good at taking the test and stuff like that, but I didn't know really what can you do with it. So
Yes.
and so if it helps to anybody who was worried about being indecisive, believe me, I probably switched from math to aerospace engineering for a brief moment, but then I knew it was still something in the engineering field was where I felt most comfortable. And then
Yes.
I think that's the beauty of STEM, is that maybe you do switch your career path, but because the principle of it, the logic, how to you have a little bit more flexibility in switching subjects. For me, at least, that's what it came to. So when I finally went to CSUN, I did electrical engineering, as I mentioned before. But again, my I graduated barely, by the skin of my teeth. And so I realized too what areas I struggled with was a lot of the theory. So in the lab, I loved it. It's like being able to work with this circuits, just what Daniela had said too. That was sometimes you find a lot of enjoyment in that too. So that's why when I did my master's, I wanted to do something a lot more hands-on, and that's
Yes.
where manufacturing systems engineering came along. And so I think after that change too, I was a lot happier. I was a lot more comfortable in doing, and at least I had something in it, ideas that this I could see myself doing this, for my career and such.
Wow. Guys, the story is so interesting. I was so glued. I don't know about you guys. You guys, leave a comment, say something out there. Oh my God. Jen, you said so many things that actually relates, to me. Most of the time, people think engineering, you have to be all that genius that you're gonna make the whole moon. I don't know, I don't know how they perceive that. But for me, I also had challenges, that I faced. I had to make sure I go see a tutor. I went to see the tutor. Some of these things we have to share them so that people know that it's not all roses. Just like you, the same situations you go through in other classes, same with engineering. You may not understand the class, you can still go see a tutor, or you can go see whoever you need to get help from, so that you can pursue and complete. So the most important thing is to be determined. I was determined. I kept my head high, even when it was just so hard. I just put my foot in there. I said, I have to know this. And the other thing I have learned, Chen, is I always share with people this. Whenever I have to remember or memorize something, I have to say it 6 times. I don't know if you guys use this. Whatever you do, Chen was telling us how he was counting those beans for some time. Like, it's a lesson that helped, understand how you can understand things after you do them all over more and more. And in math, you just have to do that. It doesn't matter. There are some people who are exceptional. They'll just work the problem once and they are good. But there are certain problems that are just so difficult. You need to practice them so many times. So my key was to go through something like 6 times. Even citing it 6 times, that's it. I have it. I will remember it for a long time. So I don't know, guys, try that. If you can, it might work for you.
I think.
Well,
Oh, sorry.
uh-huh.
I was going to say
No,
you hit
go
the
ahead.
nail on the head, Kirsten, because definitely, having that positive attitude and that determination. I think that's the first step in it, because um, definitely there's when we're going to school, there's times where it seems like it's a never ending tunnel, or you're balancing
I never
school
thought it was
school
going to end.
work. Yeah, you're working at the same time too, and you're like,
Yes.
how do I ever find the time for this? But it definitely starts with just you don't give up. Have that determination. And you mentioned another thing too, that before I forget too, is
Yes.
being able to know to ask for help,
Mm.
know to resources. We live in an age where you can digitize your notes, you can share easily notes too.
Yes.
And on we have resources like YouTube, where you
Mm.
have a bunch of people too. If you don't understand a subject like integrated circuits, because maybe the teacher didn't explain it in a way you understand it too, you can probably find like the same subject online. Maybe someone else can explain it somewhere else that breaks it down. So we're definitely living in an age where that kind of technology is make things a lot more easier. It doesn't make the work that you do any more easier, or
Mm.
any more or downplays it. But we do have like these resources. So I definitely, that's a great point that you brought up.
Wow. And talk about networking. Um, you know, share with our viewers how to be sociable to people around you. How important is it in engineering to be able to, first, I want to say this. Each of us in engineering, in scientists, technologists, we have unique talent that God gave us, right? So
Absolutely.
that talent we all have in a different way. That's why we need to try and mingle, talk to people around you, because most people they just go straight work and they go, or maybe they in class they just go to class and do. Talk about why is it important to be able to network with people around you.
Sure, absolutely. Because I think the most maybe obvious answer is you could be the sharpest tool in the shed, but if you're not able to convey your message or your ideas, in an easy understand way, we're all here because we're a team, and so it's all the more important that we're able to communicate and effectively with others, especially if you're if you have a goal that you're trying to to go with this. So and that's another thing too, actually, and thank you for reminding me on my career.
Mhm.
One of the most important classes that I actually took was not a STEM class, but it did
Mhm.
help. It
Mhm.
was one was writing class, in composition, and the other was speech. So
Mhm.
believe me, before I was definitely a wallflower. I could not look at someone to talk to, but it's something that it's something you definitely have to get comfortable with, and you
Yes.
find out that you have a knack for it. So
Mhm.
definitely you want to associate yourself and practice with like the other people's like talk show hosts,
Yes.
like an article that was really well written or something like that. Just understand
Mhm.
like how do you get the words in a way that really it catches people's attention. So, and when you're talking about networking too, that's at least how do you make your works stand out. You could um, I try to tell as many youths as I can about this. Is like, if you're considering something in STEM, is always keep a record, a portfolio of all the projects you worked. It doesn't matter how silly it may seem to you, but as long as you're passionate about it, as long as you learn something about it, this is what you want to show to, like, people, especially when you're networking, because they're like, wow,
Yes.
this person really learned something out of it, and
Mhm.
and they got out of it. But in order to show them that, what you got out of it, you definitely need to be able to network, to be able to present yourself and present your ideas. So it's definitely, that's, I think, being in a STEM major, that's something you also have to be able to expect and be able to at least be somewhat proficient in.
Wow, wow. You nailed it. Guys, being a scientist, an engineer, or technologist, and you can couple it with expressing yourself, you are a bullet, guys. So make sure you can communicate, make sure you can express yourself, because even when you are put in management or whatever, when they see that you can express your idea either in written or on just expressing yourself, you are a bullet. They will want you, guys. So make sure you can couple those two, and very good tools. Oh my God, Chen, you are just you've explained so many good stories, so many good points. I really appreciate. So Chen, now that you are at this level where you are, what would you say to a girl or a boy growing up who's about 5 years, 6 years old? When you look at them, how can you encourage them to pursue STEM?
So STEM is definitely like a path that's for, especially for them, it's not something they first consider. But when you become a STEM major, you really see the world in a different way. You're able to diagnose and break down problems in a logical manner. So what I want to say is that, if you ever had that curiosity of, even for a moment, how something worked, or you wanted to know something about how the world worked, don't don't lose that curiosity. Doesn't matter what other people say. It's like, oh, just that's the way it is, or just look it up online. Yeah, you go look it up online, but you know but keep that curiosity, keep that passion. It's goes back to your earlier point about that, having that positive attitude. It's just, if you can hold that curiosity, I think it's definitely STEM is something definitely worth considering. It may be hard. It definitely will be hard. I stand corrected. It will be hard, and there may be times when you're maybe like the only person that has an idea of what to do next. Like in my case, my family was, my parents, they didn't finish all their entire schooling to college. So there was parts where I had to rely on myself to go out to find other resources to help myself. But it's definitely no less rewarding than any other majors. It's something that I found that really helps define myself, helps express myself. It's something, definitely. I think it's worth looking for. It's being a STEM major.
Wow, wow. Guys, you heard it. That's right. It's one of the best majors. It has advantages that we can put for another time, guys. So make sure you can venture into that. Thank you so much, Chen. We hope to see you again. I really do appreciate, your story was amazing. I was glued to it. Thank you so much. Hope to see you soon.
Kirsten, thank you so much. I appreciate all your work on this.
Thank you. Guys, that was Chen. I was, so glad to have him. He's working right now, so he just had time to come and hang with us. And he's an engineer as well. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Guys,